Hello, I am Charlotte from Brand New Public Library. I am participating in the Social Distancing Bookfest book tag. Social Distancing Bookfest is a virtual book festival happening this Saturday, April 25th. The first panel is World Building in Speculative Fiction and Historical Suspense. The question is, share a book with great world building. I chose The Cabinet of Wonders by Marie Rutkoski. It's kind of like a steampunk, feels a little Victorian, but obviously a different reality, and some people have powers. Tackling Consent, Gender, and Toxic Masculinity in Romance asks me to share a book with enthusiastic consent. I don't read a lot of adult books, so I chose the young adult book Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. This is the second in the series, and I just really appreciated kind of the patience and the respect and the talking about reluctance to progress in the physical side of the relationship. So you want to start a booktube channel. Offer one piece of advice for aspiring booktubers. I would suggest just start. Your videos will get better as you go along. You'll make mistakes. You'll find better ways of doing things that you won't if you just don't start. From boys in outer space to magical girls, guillotines, queer violence in science fiction and fantasy. Share a favorite sci-fi or fantasy book with queer representation. I choose Dreadnought by April Daniels. This is a superhero story where, so she's a transgender girl, she's not out, the superhero Dreadnought dies near her, and his like mantle of powers gets passed on to her, so then she gets her ideal body all of a sudden. And just, I loved that the book balances this superhero story with this trying to find acceptance story. Beyond Stephen King, New Frontiers in Horror. Share a creepy book written by a woman, a person of color, or someone from the LGBTQIA+ community. I chose The Forgotten Girl by India Hill Brown. I loved that this book shows a parallel between a past forgotten girl, because she's in a forgotten graveyard, and a current forgotten girl because she's often forgotten at school. Fierce Femme, Standing Your Ground. Share a book with a fierce female protagonist. I choose Alanna, the First Adventure by Tamora Pierce. I think this was the first book I read as a child where a girl just decides to dress as a boy to pursue the career that she wants, and in this case it's a knight. Navigating Latinx Identity in Fantasy. Share a fantasy book with Latinx representation. I chose We Set the Dark on Fire by Tehlor Mejia. It's a little bit of a stretch to call this fantasy. It does seem to be kind of a made-up reality. I'm not sure if the gods are real or not, or just a belief system. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable read. Family, Friendship, and Determination in Middle Grade Fiction. Share a middle grade book with a great family or friend group. I'm choosing Zenobia July. It begins shortly after she moves in with her aunts, so she's new in town. The friend group is really good. And for the same reason I liked Dreadnought, it has this balance of there's a mystery of who's hacking the school, and she has all these skills as with computers. But she's also transgender, and she's worried about receiving hate for that. New voices in YA panels, sci-fi and fantasy and contemporary. Share an upcoming release that you can't wait to get your hands on. I chose The Ninth Life by Taylor B. Barton. So, a cat who loves his owner very much dies, and is reborn as a human. But unfortunately, this human already had a life somehow, was already dating someone. So the cat/human wants to go find the owner that they love, but the body they're in is already in a relationship. So I think that's going to be humorous and adorable. From Sherlock Holmes to Veronica Mars, variation in the mystery thriller genre. Share a favorite mystery or thriller. I choose Odd Thomas. He can talk to ghosts, and he feels compelled to avenge them. But in a fun way. It was a fun read, and on the first page, it says something that makes you imply, watch out, this is going to be an unreliable narrator, and being honest and upfront about that, but you kind of forget about that throughout the book, and at the end you're like, oh, that's the unreliable narrator bit. Identity and formation. Identity formation and deconstruction in adult fiction. Share a book that deals with identity in a positive or negative way. I chose I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. This is about a non-binary teen who comes out to their parents, gets kicked out, moves in with their estranged sister, so there's some kind of tension and abandonment there, and starts in a new school, but chooses not to be out as non-binary. There's romance, as you can probably tell by the cover. Social Distance Book Fest. Share a bright spot from the past few weeks, a book you read, a moment of self-care, something that made you laugh. I have been playing a lot of Spyfall. There's been a lot of virtual chats with my family and friends, and I will make another video about how you can play Spyfall. Have a wonderful day. Oh, but remember, Saturday, April 25th is Social Distance Book Fest.